Hello, friends. My name is Charmaine from To Witch Isle, and this is a Witch's Cauldron. And this is the last in the series of automatic negative thoughts. We've covered all or nothing automatic negative thoughts. We've covered less than automatic negative thoughts. We've covered just the bad negative thoughts. We've covered guilt beating negative thoughts. We've covered labeling negative thoughts. We've covered fortune telling negative thoughts. We've covered mind reading negative thoughts. And we've covered if only and I'll be happy when negative thoughts. And the last one, number 9, is the blaming ends. Blaming automatic negative thoughts are classic self sabotage. It is much easier to cast blame on others than to accept our own choices that we've made sometimes because we know we don't always make the best choices. But to be fair, we are human and humans are fallible and mistakes can be made because they are learning lessons. It doesn't mean you're a failure. You can't really fail at being human. You can be not a great human, but you can also be a pretty good human. But I believe that we're both, like, a lot of the time. A lot of the time, we are both kinda good and kinda bad because we don't know how all of our choices affect other people because our choices are kinda like butterfly effects, and they reach out. And blaming others is just basically not accepting our own choices. And we kinda have to accept the things that we do choose in life because they are our choices. Blaming automatic negative thoughts sound like life would be great if it weren't for blah, blah, blah. You know, insert the blah, blah, blah. If trauma never happened to me, or maybe nothing ever goes right. This is what blaming automatic thoughts look like. When you blame others and outside circumstances for the things that are happening in your life that are, say, negative, and you continue to blame those outside sources, you're basically giving up your own power. Now you don't have any control in your life because outside forces can always affect you. And that's not the way that we want to be. We want to be to where it doesn't matter what happens outside of us, that we don't necessarily have to react to every little stimuli that is presented to us. We don't have to give in to an argument just for argument's sake. I was really stuck for a long time trying to figure out how I could change these blaming ants because I was stuck in a place where I often went, well, trauma hadn't happened to me. I'd be X, Y, and Z. But by doing that, I was giving the outside world a lot of control over how I felt or what my mood would be like on any given day. And if you're truly trying to be happy, but outside circumstances always have you feeling bad, it just seems like you're spinning your wheels. So how do you squish these ants? Blaming ants get squished by taking responsibility. It is your life, no one else's. You have the reins and you make the choices. Whether you think they're forced or not, you ultimately make the choices. Once you can step out of that blaming, take your life into your hands, and then ask yourself, what's going to get me to where I want to be right now? That's where you go first. The next step to the blaming ants is really looking at your choices that got you to where you were, where you don't want to be again, and then to change those choices so that you don't end up in those same places. I can't tell you exactly what those paths look like because there are a million different paths to one destination. And it just is up to you and the choices that you make. Blaming ants can make us feel better in the short term, but in the long term, it's going to create problems. I challenge you to look at your life and see if there's any places that maybe these blaming ants are infesting on your brain, because we don't like ants. This one was the last one. So we have now completed the series of the 9 different automatic negative thoughts that people are prone to have. These thoughts are all found in Your Brain is Always Listening. It's a book by Dr. Daniel G. Amen. I recommend this book if you are attempting to change your internal language. This book had a whole lot of insight in it. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. And until next time, friends, light and love.